Hello, everyone. Hello. It's been a long time. I know. I know it's been a long time, but like I said, this channel it's much different than one second. Sorry. Like I said, this channel is much different than the SMD channel. All right, it's much deeper. And today, I was thinking about something today, telling you guys since I know I am a chosen one. What's up, down south, yellow? Chosen one who is now awakened. I can now look back on my life as as far as I can begin. And I believe telling you guys my story will resonate with a lot of you guys, different pieces and et cetera, right? But it's going to be a fast track through it. But then, there's going to be many stories later on for the in between. So, excuse me. So let's go all the way back. Hello, QQ. I can't really say that. I'm on my phone, so uh, let's go. We're gonna go all the way back to before I was born, because I need you guys to really understand how I became who I am today. All right, and it started with my mother. Okay, now before I was even born, my mom was saying while I was in my stomach, of course, she's telling me this, that I'm special. God has a plan for me. My mom she was always into church, okay? So God has a plan for me. He's special. I got to protect you. God has this, and then this is, of course, after she's telling me because as I was growing up, she has also told me that as I'm growing up. Now, hearing this from being in the womb, coming out and still hearing it, right? I'm thinking in my mind as a child because remember, I know nothing else. My first world is the world that my mother creates for me. So in my mind, I'm thinking that every mother tells their kid this, especially the ones that go to church all the time. She's just saying that because she's my mom. She has to, da da da. But I don't know that none of that is true. Okay. I don't know that, which is a good thing. I don't know any of that's true. Right. And at a very early age, I had responsibilities, cleaning, cleaning the house, cleaning my room, come home, have homework, all these things from earliest as I can remember. I don't even remember when it started. It felt like I was just born with it. Okay, but but since it was started that young, I didn't have any problem with it because that's all I knew. In my mind, I thought all kids did what I did. I just thought it was part of because because I'm doing chores and I'm watching TV shows and they're doing chores. So I'm thinking, okay, every all kid gets receives this love because I lived in a house of love. It was just my mom though. My dad wasn't around, but my mom made it a house of love. That's the best way I can explain to you. Okay, it was a house of love, but it was important to have chores. I didn't know because I didn't like them, but I just said, oh, okay, every kid does that, right? So I'm learning as I'm going along, and the earliest I can remember is when I started hearing the inner voice. Now we normally call it an inner voice, but calling it a voice is incorrect. Okay. So here's a good example of what I mean. Think about saying just the word voice. Say the word voice, but don't say it out loud. Okay. Just say it in your mind. Now, we all know that we said it in our mind, but we didn't really say anything. You got to remember, we didn't say nothing. We probably mimicked the voice of us saying it in our mind. We probably mimicked our voice saying it, but we didn't say anything. That's how it is. Okay. So the earliest I can remember is when I was in grade school, is when the inner voice started, the inner thought, I'm gonna call it a thought. The inner thought started speaking to me. So I thank God that I was, first of all, born in the type of environment that I was born into. That's I'm very grateful of that because I understand that that is not true for all children. So now, when I used to go to school, I was blessed enough to not be a small guy. My mom already instilled self confidence in me because she forced it into us. That's how she did it with chores and responsibility. And she never downed us. She always said we can do anything. You're handsome. Blah blah blah. In my mind, I just think, oh, moms, you're just saying that because you're my mom. No, but little did I know that put that into me to where I never had a self confidence problem. But anyway, when I went to school, uh, if now we lived in the projects in Seattle, Washington, there was a place called the Rainer Vista. Now, if you Google it, it'll look really, really nice. But there was a Rainer Vista before that Rainer Vista you Google. Okay, there's one before that. Say Rainer Vista 1970s and 60s, and then you'll see the one that I lived in, right? But these are the projects in Washington State. So do not compare them to East Coast projects. It's not the same. Okay, it's not, right? And so I lived in the projects, but I didn't know that that was a bad thing because all my friends were close by. If one friend wasn't there, I would go play with another one. Anyway, it started in grade school. So when I used to go to school and I saw kids get teased, I didn't like that, right? I didn't like that. So I would take up for the kids that got teased, right? and and I was big enough to I'm not saying I could kick everybody's butt in school. I'm just saying that I didn't get picked on. Let's just say that. I didn't get picked on. And it wasn't more of just my size. It was more of my attitude. So say like there was somebody that was bigger than me that decided that they were going to pick on me. Well, we were just going to have a problem because I wasn't going to keep letting a person keep on picking on me. He was going to keep you either going to keep kicking my ass, or we're going to fight each other. Somebody's going to stop fighting, right? It was never just submit. That was never me. That would have never happened ever, right? So what I did was take up for kids that would get teased, right? Now as an adult, all right, when I think about myself inside of school as a child, I'm in school living in my own perspective of the world that was created by my mother, not realizing that every single kid that's going to school with me does not live in that same perspective. But I'm a child. I don't know that at that time. Okay. But so the reason why I'm saying this, we don't know the reason why kids come to school upset, angry. We don't know their condition. I didn't know the conditions of every child at home. I just thought it was like mine. I had a bedtime, I had my own room, I had my own TV in my room, and I lived in the projects. I had my own TV in my room, my own room. I didn't share nothing with nobody, and I had two other sisters. I didn't know all that, but I didn't like other kids getting teased, so I did my best to not allow that to happen. Then they would become my friends, and once they became my friends, that they was pretty much nobody would, I guess, bother them or whatever, right? But back in the 70s, uh, I had the choice, and this is pretty crazy. I don't even know how that was possible. Today, it wouldn't be possible, but I had the choice to either walk home or catch the bus. I didn't even need permission from anybody. I could just choose it. And I'm in grade school, okay? This is crazy, right? But and some days would be nice, and I would just want to walk home because it was a nice, beautiful day, and I would just want to see things, right? But sometimes the inner voice would speak to me, right? It would speak to me and it would say, "Why don't you just catch the bus home today?" And I would never question it. It could be a nice day, a beautiful day, and something inside of me would say, "Just catch the bus home today." And I would do it, regardless of an explanation of why. And this is now as an adult, I'm gonna tell you this. I didn't know the bad things of the world that adults were out there that would hurt children. You know, I'm a child unknowing. Thank God I don't know any of that because it would have ruined my experience, just playing in the woods and, just exploring and all this other stuff. I'm glad I didn't really know all that kind of stuff, right? But I would listen to the inner thought. Now, what I learned is recently, as I get deeper and deeper into my awakening, uh, God, God is everything, right? And in order for us to experience the freedom of choice, He had to create what He is not. He had to create what He is not, right? In order for us to have a choice, or in order for Him to create, because we're all part of Him. So, in order for Him to create something to experience Himself using us, He had to create who He is not. All right, and you'll understand that later as I tell you this, because I recently made this particular connection. Now, I noticed as I got older, I started being attracted to the numbers like 369 for some odd reason. If I would say things, if I'm trying to do something, win a competition or something, or do so, I would say it 3 times because it seemed to always work for me. No particular reason. And as long as it's three divisible, but nine used to always be the main number for some odd reason. But I always kept those things to myself. Okay. So I remember one time I think I was a freshman in high school. I was a freshman. And this is when who I was not started trying to have me choose him. Okay. I'm trying to put this in words. Okay. So one day I'm in school. I believe I'm a freshman. I'm in school, I'm chilling, and out of nowhere, I'm sitting next to a kid, and we're like 14, 15, okay? Remember, about 15. He turns to me and says, "Hey, man, I don't know how we got on chores and stuff like that, but he was like, oh, yeah, man, I don't got no chores or nothing like that." I was blown away. I was like, what? Really? No? No, man, I ain't never had. He said, "You know what I do, man? My mom go to sleep, man. I be sneaking off with her car and all this other stuff." I was like, "Really?" And she don't even know. He's like, "No, no." Now, remember, now, if you pause that for a quick second, pause that. All right, all of that could is illegal. Uh, could could wreck the car. My mom's insurance wouldn't pay for it because I shouldn't have been driving. I'm a minor. She's responsible. I could have hurt somebody else. I could have killed somebody else. All that. Listen, during that moment, my life could have changed forever. I would not be on the mic talking to you guys today. Do you guys understand that? All right. So this is how this happened. So I listened to the guy because my mom worked. She worked. Yeah, she worked during the nights or day. No, because I got the car at night, so she had to work. Anyway, I used to sneak off with the car when she was asleep. All right. And first, I got the bright idea of, here I am thinking it's easy enough. Look, okay, that's the gas, that's the brake, red light, green light, stop, go, yellow means pause, whatever, right? Whatever I'm thinking. It wasn't that hard. That's what I'm thinking in my 15-year-old mind. All right. So I do it one time. Uh, the first time I did it, I accidentally left the mirrors and the seats adjusted to me. Not because I'm a kid. I don't know that the seats and the mirrors never change to the one person that drives the car. So I made up a story. Said, "Oh, I just got out there and warmed it up for you." Blah blah blah. I said, "Okay, shit. I got to remember, to put it back the way she had it, right?" So, and then I think I do it one or two or three more times, right? Until this one time, uh, I take the car and then I go pick up my friend. All right. And in Seattle, there was a street called Broadway. All right, and there was a if you look up Sir Mix-a-Lot Posse on Broadway video, that's the Broadway I'm talking about. Back in those days when Sir Mix-a-Lot was he was on top, everything. I mean, he's not gone now, but that was his high moment back then, right? That was a famous street to drive up and down, especially in the burger place that he's in front of. It's called Dick's Burgers, right? And I used to we everybody cruised up there, and so here I am. We drive up there, and I I I see a police officer pull up behind me. Okay, and I told my friend, I said, "Don't turn around." Okay, don't. I said, "Don't turn around. There's an officer behind us." So the light gets ready to. It turns yellow. I zoom through the light. He turns around. I get pulled over. Okay, so I don't want to forget this part. Okay, I don't want to forget this part. All my life, I have what I called photo moments. Photo moments. Okay, that I would remember like taking a photo for some odd reason, no particular reason, and it's just locked to my memory without even trying. I don't know why I'm remembering it, but I remember it in detail all the time. All right, so we get pulled over. Uh, the lady The lady cop, now remember, the lady cop could have done some, she could have did me bad, but she didn't. She pulled me over. She says, "Hey," she clearly could see I wasn't supposed to be behind that wheel. She says, license and registration. Back then, insurance wasn't required back then, right? License and registration. I said, "Well, here's the registration, but I ain't got no license." She was like, "Okay. Uh, all right, I'll be back." And then she went back there, did something, got a whole bunch of paperwork for a ticket or something. I forgot exactly what exactly was. And then she goes, and then she hands me the paperwork, and then I get back in the car, and she says, "What are you doing?" She said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm getting back in the car so I can go home." She says, and now mind you, we're up on Broadway. It's about 2 o'clock in the morning. I forgot to add that part. It's about 2 o'clock in the morning. Everything's shutting down. And she says, "What are you doing?" She says, "Unless you find somebody with a license to drive you home in this car, you're not going anywhere in this car." So she says, "Leave it parked right here. Do not drive this car." So in my mind, I'm 15. In my mind, she's old. She don't know what she's not smart as me. She's not smart as me. So so I said, what I'm gonna do is wait for her to drive away, and then I'm just gonna get in the car and drive away. Right? That's exactly what I was gonna do. So what happened was when she was leaving, I got out the car, locked the doors, act like I was about to walk away, whatever, right? And then I turn around, guess what happened? The keys got locked in the car. This is when the first I say the first intervention of the higher self who is talking to you guys right now intervened to prevent me from making a major change in my life because listen, what my point was to do was to wait for her to leave, get in the car, drive away. Okay, now before I tell you this part, so when I turned around and saw the keys locked in the car, I damn near shit at myself. I was like, "Oh shit!" So it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Everything's closing down. We're walking down Broadway to a store to see if we can get a hanger to get into the car so we can pop the lock to get the keys. Okay. As we're walking to the store that's down the street, there's alleyways between the stores. As we're walking past the alleyway, guess who's parked in the alleyway? The police officer lady. I kid you not. I swear to God, as I'm walking past, it's like everything went in slow motion. We locked eyes. As I'm walking past, everything was slow motion. And it was like words were said without even saying a word, because she's in the car with the windows closed, but she's looking at me through the windshield as I'm walking by. And I'm looking at her, and she's like, I was waiting for you to get back into the car so I could pull you over, tow the car, and take your ass to juvie. That was all said in like half a second. You hear me? I knew at that moment, I said to myself, I didn't tell anybody what I thought to my, I said to myself, it was like that was done on purpose. It was, because that's exactly what would have happened. I would have hopped in the car. She would have pulled me over. She would have towed my mother's car, her only car to use to get to work, to support us, to keep me living with my own room, my own TV in my room, all that stuff. Okay. All that. And I was risking it all. And the higher self, God, whatever you want to call it, intervened, prevented me from doing that, because clearly I didn't know what I was doing. That would have changed my life forever. Then I went to juvenile. I went to never been in trouble in my life. Everything would have changed. Pay attention to there are no coincidences. Those are synchronicities, people. Synchronicities. Synchronicities. So then after that, I had no choice but to contact my mother. She got a hold of my uncle. They came up with to Broadway, came and got me. I got in severe trouble, and then I got sent down to my father in Texas, where the exact opposite of the way I was living was with him. None of that. I had none of that. No, none of my own, nothing. No, no good ass food. I used to eat all the time, Chinese food on the weekend. All of that was taken away. And I was begging my mother. She left me down there for a year. And I'm glad she did it. Thank you. Straightened me right up. Sure did. You better believe it did. Because I went down south in Texas. I went from the big city, listen, the big city, to a small town in Texas, where in the city you just go to the store for your bacon. My grandfather, he had a pig farm. Now I know where it comes from and what it smells like and what they smell like. Learn my lesson good. After about a year with my father, I came back. Uh, I didn't do none of that nonsense uh, anymore to my mother. I it just totally straightened me up. I got back on track. I'm glad she did it, because that obviously it was veering off track. All right, so now I'm getting closer to my 18th birthday. No problems. I'm not getting in any trouble and doing nothing. I never got in trouble with the law, but if I would have kept going the way I was going, I would have. Okay. If those keys didn't get locked in the car, I would have. So I'm getting close to my 18th birthday. I'm about 17 here, and just the beginning of the year of our junior year, about 17. And then I have a friend, well, this guy that comes from out of town, new to our school, and him and I clicked immediately. And this is for, I hope the young people can listen to this, because this friend of mine, he was like a brother to me. That's how I felt. This was type of love that I felt I had for him. Okay, and the way, but now that I'm older and now that I'm awakened, he was the exact opposite of me. He was obviously here to stop me from my path. Now, when I say stop me, everybody has freedom of choice, right? When you have a friend, this what I want the young people. I'm gonna get into the details about that a little bit later, because I want to keep going along. But any friend, okay, I'm gonna try to put it easy. Any Any person you call a friend, say like you've never been in trouble with the law, you that's not even your goal. You just want to be successful figuring out the legal way, right? And then you have a so-called friend that introduces you to something that is illegal that could is obviously will be for money, but what it's risking is something worth more than money, which is the time in your life that could put you in jail. That is not a friend. You understand? If you have a so-called friend that introduces you to something that could you could lose the time in your life, something that you could never get back, and they're introducing you to it for money, that is not your friend. Because friends do not do that to their friends. They don't introduce them to things that could change their life forever. When you're young, you don't know that. You don't know that. You don't think about 30 years from now getting a getting a felony at 18 years old, and then it's not really going to kick into you about 35, 40. You're like, "Oh my God, this has really been." Yes, that's not your friend. I don't want you to misconstrue love, so much love that you overlook something that can put you in prison. You understand? What I was doing as far as my love life as an adult man, I there's the perspective of love that was put into my world from my mother. So when I went out to the world as an adult young man, of course, you believe, as a man, you get this false. I got this false pressure of this is what men do. This is how they do it. They just have to have this and that. None of that is true. You don't have to. You don't have to do any of. Oh, what's going on? You don't have to have. One second here. Oh crap! Hold on for a second, you guys. Hope I didn't. Let me see. One second. One second. All right. Can you hear me? Okay. All right. I hate that. Threw me off track. Crap. I forgot where I was at. I'm sorry, you guys. One second here. I forgot where I was at. Where was I? Somebody can remind me where I was at. I cannot remember where I was at. Oh, that's not your friend. Okay. Friends. When you're young, when you're young, I was a I consider myself it looked like I was naive, especially when it came to women. It looked like I was naive, but it was just my version of love in the wrong perspective of the world. That's what it really was. That's how I know. Uh, and I'll tell more about that later on. That's how I understand that it was just my version of love. Now that I'm in my own perspective, outside of that perspective of ghosting, playing on each other, cheating, secrets. That is a perspective of the world that I didn't know I didn't have to be part of. But now I'm clear that I don't have to be part of that type of stuff. Those questions, like when now that I'm not part of that, it's easy to see the people that are part of that, the way they talk, the way they move, the way they hold their phones,
just their answers. People that don't do that stuff, don't talk like that, don't do stuff like that. And when I was in that perspective of the world, I almost fell for the fact that everybody, the majority of the people is like that. You got to always have backup just in case. No, you don't. I know that I don't have to be part of that. You understand? So now, which is also just awakened another internal, it's almost like a superpower. It's a type of energy that's very difficult to explain, but I believe that's also part of my gift, to be able to physically say and speak the psychological. I know this is a little off, but let me give you an example of what I mean, because mathematically is the only way that I can speak to people that do not know the psychological exists. Okay, I just want you guys to understand. I'm gonna say that one more time. Mathematically is the only way I can speak to people that do not know the psychological exists. So here, let me give you an example. You cannot buy a house with a mortgage. That's 100% impossible. Now, you as a person that probably has heard that's the only way to buy a house, you probably hear me say that and don't know how to respond. You don't know what to say. All I did was state a mathematical fact. That's speaking the psychological. Here, let me give you one more. It only takes one day to buy a house. You cannot save for retirement while having a mortgage. All I'm doing is stating mathematical facts, but they're psychological to the people that don't know the psychological exists. Do you guys understand that? It's the same type of, but in the psychological, there's there's millions of perspectives, but there's only one perspective that I can say to people that do not know the psychological exists. There's only one perspective, and that's the mathematical perspective, because the mathematical perspective is undeniable. If I say 1 + 1 = 2 and you don't agree, that's your problem. You understand? There's nothing I can do. I have to walk away. That's part of the gift of of awakening, but now it's something that I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it. But as back to my friend, he uh he passed away when we were 30, and I remember as he passed away from a rare blood cancer when we were 30. And as he passed away, I could feel him saying sorry to me for introducing me to some things that I naively chose to do. And like I said, I'll get into the details of that a little bit later. Before he passed away, it's something I could feel. Okay, I can't really explain that, but it's something I could feel. Uh, yeah, and I didn't realize till recently, till now, almost 25 years later, because he passed in like 2000. I didn't realize till what I'm telling you guys today. Now he was a very here. Let me put it a different way. Let me put it a different way. If I had the mindset that I have today as a 18, 17-year-old kid, if I could go back with my mindset I have today, him and I would not be friends. You understand? Him and I would not be friends because of the things that he was into, and I never. Again, and make sure you guys understand that God gave us all freedom of choice. But as an aware, awakened man today, I would say, no, I can't hang with you because I don't do those things, and you're introducing me to things that can get me into prison, change my life, give me a felony record. Now I'm limited to what I can do, what jobs I can get, etc., etc. As I got through, when after he passed away, uh, my only issue, my only problem, some in my life was just relationships with women. They I had this version of love put in my mind by my mother, and the majority of the world is not like that. But I didn't know that. So when I tell a woman, I was telling a woman I loved her, and she told me she loved me back. I thought it was the same version of love as I was saying to her, but it wasn't. But I didn't know that because the only thing I could go by is TV. I didn't know I didn't know there were millions of perspectives of the word love because every single person has their own perspective of love. I didn't know that. In my mind, it was all the same. And that's unknowingly. I don't think like that today. I'm a different person today. I'm a awakened person. Now, today, I know who I am. I know my version of love is rare. It's not a big deal, but I don't mind being alone until I find, not even find, I'm not even looking. Whoever she is, she's just gonna know. That's the best way I can describe to you guys. She's just gonna know. It's a language. It's a language that most do not speak. The psychological, first of all, let's make sure it's clear. The majority have no idea the psychological even exists, let alone a speakable language. That's obviously for chosen ones, obviously. This is mathematical fact what I'm telling you. And if it's mathematical fact, that means it's true. Why have I been chosen with such a beautiful gift? I know for a fact that I was prepared for it. Believe that. And I had many, many, many things that was trying to stop me unknowingly. There's so many to count. A lot of close calls that I used to always wonder. I'm like, how did I get out of that? How did that happen? How did I know that? I'm not, and let's make sure this is clear. Everybody's from God. Everybody has what I'm telling you. You just have to know it. That's totally up to you to know it. I don't want you to think I'm special. I don't want you to think that. I just know it now. There are no coincidences. They're called synchronicities. Now, I'm 100% aware that God sees and knows everything. Period. Does that mean I'm going to be walking around preaching the Lord? No. I'm fully aware that God knows and sees everything. That's obvious to me. We, me, I'm walking proof. No batteries, perfectly adapted to earth, hands and joints and everything. All I need is food and water to keep going. Everybody's so fascinated with AI. The human brain created AI. That's part of the gift, people. What I'm talking to you now, at the last piece of the quick review of this journey, The narcissist, the most important piece. Let me tell you, the most important piece of my journey. Because I was wondering, why is this happening with these women and this and that? And then once I met the narcissist, there was no person out of all the women that I've ever met in my life, there was no other woman that was more horrible. She was a bad, bad person. You hear me? I've never experienced anything like her. She was a very bad person. Woke me right up. That's what it took. Let me tell you. That's what it took. Everything was stripped from me. Listen, everything was stripped from me. I had no choice but to ask God for help. God knew I wasn't joking. Trust me, if you ever get to this point to where you have no other options at all, and you will ask God in a certain way, like I did, like I've never asked God before. I had nothing. I asked God, and God said, "Of course I will, as long as you stay out of the way. Stay out of the way." That's all He said to me. Stay out of the way. Whatever she does, don't respond. Don't say anything in return. Don't do nothing. Don't do anything. Stay out of the way. When I did that, I got everything I wanted back. Everything. Plus more. Something that I thought that was impossible, because if you knew this woman, she would have burned all of my stuff before giving it back to me. Do you hear me? She would have rather burned it. To a person that I did nothing but uplift. You hear me? Nothing but helped and encouraged her, and but her purpose, listen, I understand her purpose in my life. It was to awaken me. That's how much that's how much pain and torture I needed to say, "Hey, wait a minute. Okay, this is not right." Awakened me to what I'm speaking to you guys today now. I'm a chosen one. I had been tried to be stopped all my life to veer me off, because God gave us all the gift of choice, all of us. There was many times that I could have easily went to prison, jail, prison, starting at an early age, hop back in the car after she gave me the cop. Listen, back then, the cop gave me a break. I'm 15 years old. I don't know the cop gave me a break by letting the car parked and having somebody else drive it. But when we locked eyes as I walked past the alleyway, I cannot explain that to you guys. It was time, everything, time and space, everything changed. Everything just stopped. Now that kind of stuff has happened like 2 or 3 times in my life, where it might be only a second, but I swear to God, it feels like it's like 5, 10 seconds, because everything slows down. But we locked eyes, and the message, she was like, "I was going to take you to jail. You was going to juvenile. I gave you a chance. You blew it, everything." But I didn't, because my higher self prevented me from doing it. It was God. Hello, truth. It was God that was giving you the sour feeling about this person. It was Him that was speaking to you and telling you that you're not going to feel right until young got you got away get away from that person. That is true. Yes. Now I live for whatever he wants me to do. I have no expectations of the gift that he has given me. Because at first, it feels like a superpower. Knowing that I know something that millions of people do not know, billions, because it's all over the world, billions of people do not know, right? But that's ego. No, excuse me, who I am not trying to get in on the action. That's because I'm trying to predict something that my mind is not built to do. My physical brain is here to process things and know about the past and the present, but it doesn't know anything past that. So that's why I decided when I speak on this channel, it's going to be just basically what he tells me. You guys will see my journey, the purpose of this knowledge, because obviously it's something very, very important, obviously, to be able to speak the psychological, something I've never heard of anybody doing. Uh, Never even thought about it. Don't even. Hmm, it's amazing. And like I said earlier, I had to be prepared for this gift. So I don't do exactly that. Be blessed with a gift and let who I am not take over that gift. Because here, when I say who I am not, let me clarify that. I remember when I was out and about with my friend back when we were younger, doing things that could have put us in prison. God used to speak to me. And if this is you and you're young and you're listening to this right now, let me just listen to me closely, okay? When I was out with this friend doing things that could have put us in prison, there was a thought, an energy in my mind that used to say, "What are you doing? This is not you. Listen, this is not you." That would repeat. This is not you, but it wouldn't say it like this is not you, not like a robot voice. It would just be normal. This is not you. What are you doing? Now when it was being said like that in my mind, I'm not thinking like, where's that coming from? Maybe you start thinking of the programming. Oh man, you got voice in your head. You start talking crazy. No, it sounded like a logical. It wasn't nothing crazy. It was like, what are you doing? What are you doing? This is not you. Who I am not. You understand? I heard that quite a few times. And if you're a young person right now and you're hearing that in your mind, you better be paying attention to it. You are brand new to earth. You are at the beginning of your life right now. You're at the very beginning. You are creating your future today, right now. If you're out there trading something, listen, out there trading something worth more value, that's more valuable for less value. You're trading time in your life for money. You better not do that. That's not an even trade. Here, let me say it to you differently. Like say like you're out there selling illegal drugs. Let's just keep it clean because I don't want anything striked or anything so sensitive nowadays. You're out there selling illegal drugs. The laws of the United States says if you do that, we're going to take away the time in your life. That's what it says. Now I know you normally hear it says jail and you're going to get some years. I'm going to say it differently to you. The laws of the United States is they're going to take away the time in your life if you do that here. It's the same thing, but it sounds a little different. It sounds more like what it is. Just because, listen, just because you don't see how it works or how it really works or how you could do the same thing to become rich and wealthy legally, you decide to do it that way. That well, they got there's laws for people like that. If you're a person that's you've been on a straight and narrow and you've just been enjoying life and then you come across this friend and it piques your interest because it's something that you've never done in your life, you got to say to yourself, will that change my life forever? If I do that, I better not do that because you're brand new to earth. Now there are not many older people like me. Let's make sure that's clear. Don't look at me as, oh, he's an old guy. No, no, just always look at you being brand new to earth. I've been here longer than you, but I also know something that billions of people do not know on top of that. And I'm just here to share this gift given to me by God. That is clear. I will never forget that. So that means I will never abuse it. Nobody will ever be able to corrupt me or pay me to say something else. To then no, no, if no, God sees everything. Period. You can believe that or not, but you're walking. I'm walking proof. You guys understand that? I'm walking proof that there's God. There's God or God is here or whatever. And for making it through of of being with the worst, one of the worst type of narcissists that exist and surviving, I've been rewarded with this gift. The gift of awakening, of knowing that I'm a chosen one. Everybody really has a gift. You just have to know it. But I believe it all goes back to childhood. I understand that not everybody's childhood was like mine. I'm aware of that now. I believe that's where it starts the most. A child's world starts at home. That's their world. Now, when I walk around, when I'm doing whatever I do, let me tell you something. I know nothing of nobody. I don't know anybody till they show me. I don't assume I know somebody because of the way they look, the way they talk, the type of job they have. If they do, then none of that means anything. None of that. I just wait till they show me. My whole my whole world is different now. I know who I am. I know what I like. I know what I don't like. So here, let me give an example. Here, give an example. Because before, when I would let's say like I would date women, okay, I go out on dates with women or just date, there would be things that I don't like about the woman, but I would ignore it because either I wanted the relationship or the sex was good or something, and a lot of people are in fault of that. But today, I'm not like that today because I know my time here on earth is limited. I know my peace. I know what like I said before, I know what I like. So now, so say like I was on I went on a date with a woman, right? And I noticed that she cussed a lot. I'm not big on that. I don't really like that. I do it every now and then to make a point, but every day talking and just cussing to be cussing, I don't like that. So today, if she was doing that, I would say it. I'd be like, wow, you cuss a lot. I would tell her that. And if she says, well, that's just the way I talk, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. That's not a big deal to me. but we're not going to go anywhere. We're not dating or anything. Why? Because I'm not cool with that. I don't like that. That way, I move out of the way for a man that will either accept it or cusses just as much as or cusses just as much as her. They're a match made in heaven. Do you understand? So it's a win-win for everybody. Most people wouldn't. Most people wouldn't do that because they're scared they'll offend the person, or they'll maybe they just want to. It might just be a sexual driven thing. They're whether to overlook it. Who knows? But I'm just talking about me, who I am today. I'm gonna give let you guys know, some of you guys that are on your journey now to awakening, whether you guys know it or not, the ones that might be in narcissistic relationships. During your during your awakening, the best way I can describe it, you will be faced. I was faced with all the things that I was trying to ignore from the people that are close to me. I was trying to ignore those things. Those things come to light. Like I had an issue with my mother growing up all my life, showing favoritism to my youngest sibling. Now, I didn't mind that; it didn't bother me until it would be like thrown in my face or something. It was weird. I don't really know how to explain that part, but I'm like, hey, wait a minute. I don't really care if you show favoritism, but don't be trying to make me feel less or something. I don't really know how to. So I would just stay away and not say nothing when she did it. And every time, I want to make sure you guys understand this. Every time you uh, ignore that when they do something, especially somebody close to you, they do something that you don't like and you ignore it, that gives them permission to keep doing it. Now, if you say, oh, I'm not going to say nothing because I don't want to start da da da, don't do that, because that's giving them permission to continue to do it. All of those things come to light. So what's going to happen is basically you're going to put up a boundary. And whoever you do that to is not going to like it because you've been letting them get away with it for so many years. I know it sounds stupid, but they're going to say something like, well, I've been doing it this long. How come you're tripping on it now? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You got to put up the, and along your journey, if you ever want, in order to get to where I'm at today, I had to do that with my sister and my mother. That's a later story. You're like, wait a minute, you just told me you grew up in a house of love with your mother. You're right, as a child. But once I became an adult with my own opinion and my own mind, my mother had a problem with that part. Like, whoa, wait a minute. You can't talk. Wait a minute, mom. I'm grown now. I can have my own opinion. Then I started seeing a side of my mother that I've never seen before, but that's another story. And the same goes with my sister. As soon as start saying things like, uh, when you do that, you're using me. What do you mean? That's no, I'm not. Yes, you are. Oh, you're tripping, Linnell. This no, I'm not. Soraya says, my granddaughter looking at me like she's seen a ghost. Also, everyone walking away from me, staring. Maybe they see something. That's their problem, though. Don't worry. Hey, listen, don't worry about how they look at you or why. That's their problem. Maybe they see the light and you don't see it. It could be many things. I know why. When I'm out and about, people come up and talk to me and they're always looking at me. I know why they're looking at me because I'm the light. I found my light. The light is an energy. It's not a. People think when you say the light, that's the best way to describe something that you can't see. No different. This is no different than the voice in your mind, or when you say like car, but don't say it. Say it in your mind. You didn't say car, but you did say car. Can you explain that? Nobody can explain it. This is a very beautiful gift. I was prepared for this. Uh, I had to go through what I had to go through so I don't squander it. So who I am not wouldn't take over it and turn it into something else, and God swoops in and takes it away, because we all know that we've seen God come in and take away gifts from many, many people. We've seen that many times because they did what? They did the wrong thing with it. Also, do the narcissist family leave you alone because they are into witchcraft? Now, with me, Zariah, once I leave the narcissist, I don't think about her, their family. I don't care if they're talking about me. I don't really think about that. I think this is how I feel about that. Always remember this, Zariah. God gave us each of us the freedom of choice. Okay, never forget that. Now, if a person can in their living room uh, uh, say a couple of words and wave some feathers and do a candlelight, and then make something happen that you didn't choose to happen in your life, that would be taking away God's choice that He gave to you. So that's not possible. Nobody can override God's choice or gift. Nobody can do that. They could try, but I think if you think about that, I think you're making the connection. You're making, because everything's about energy, right? So if you're at home worrying about the narcissist family doing witchcraft on you, I believe you're making the energy connection because you're thinking about it. When I left, one thing about narcissists, okay, they crave a chosen one's energy because it's very rare. It's very rare. It's a type of energy that's very, very rare. So once they come across a chosen one energy, they know once you leave them, the probability of them getting a chosen one type of energy again is very, very, very unlikely, because there's multiple pieces to a chosen one. So she would have to go out and find a person with all the pieces like me, which she will 90. I'm not going to say never, but there's a 99% chance that she never will. So try to think differently, Zariah. Try not to think about stuff like that. It's all if you're here on this channel, God put you here to hear some of my stories, because I'm sure they will relate to you. I'm 54. I'll be 55 next month. It took me to in my 50s to realize I'm a chosen one. Thank God for my journey. My close friend, who I love very much, all the women in my life, every single one of them, even the narcissist. I thank God for my journey, because here, for a young person in their 20s and 30s listening to a man that's almost 55, if God came down and said, "Hey, would you like to be back into your 30s again, or 20, whatever age of your choice, but without the knowledge that I have today in the life experience," I would say absolutely not. I'll stay right here. There is no way. Listen, I think about myself in my 30s, especially in my 20s, of course. 20s, really, I didn't really know. In my 30s, I didn't know a lot. And the reason why I could say that, because of what I know today. I didn't know a lot. I was going out trying to create a family without being taught how to create a family, what it takes to create, to bring life on earth and do it right. Nobody taught me how to do that. So what am I doing it? Nobody told me like that. Nobody talked to me like that. Hey man, maybe you should be, was your dad wasn't around, right? Yeah. How do you know how to be a dad? I don't. Then why are you being one? Good question. Because I had the attitude, oh, my dad wasn't around. I'm gonna be a better dad. How am I do that? Who's gonna teach me? TV? Society? Who's gonna teach me how to pick a right mother? Nobody was there to nobody was there to, but now with this knowledge today, if you're a young person with no children and now you get this knowledge now you'll be able to make a different decision than I. Now you'll know who to pick your friends, how to pick your friends wisely. Your friends don't suggest things that can get you put in prison or jail. Those are not friends. I don't care what they say. Friends don't do that. Real friends uplift you, want you to be great in life, be wealthy, prosperous, uh everything, the above, all positive. Not take advantage of your knowing that you knowing that you don't belong in that perspective of the world. Maybe they don't know. Maybe that's their version of love. Who knows? Maybe that's how they grew. Who doesn't? But all you need to know is that, could that put me in prison? Yeah, that's not my friend. You guys don't know in your 20s and your 30s, hell, even late early teens. You guys are beginning, just beginning, just beginning. You don't know how just beginning you really are with this new society now. mm, in a world that people can be many different people and look any way. You can't trust videos. You can't trust pictures. I don't know. Oh man, I don't even know with this generation how they're going to meet people. I just don't even know. The best way, let me tell you something. Find yourself first. If you want to make it in this new world today, find yourself first. Once you find yourself first, the world will be a piece of cake. The outside world will be a piece of cake as long as you find yourself first. I'm giving you I'm giving you guys a couple of things. I'm giving you guys almost 50 years of life. It's not almost, I'm tripping. Almost 55 years of life experience, but also a bonus on top of that, the gift from God, the gift of being awakened, the gift of being a chosen one. I used to always, as a child, let me leave you guys with this. As a child, I used to say this to myself: what if God gave us all a gift and he just dropped us on earth and said, okay, go find it. I used to say that to myself all the time. What if God does that? And and now that I'm an adult and I think logically, well, the world is a big place. There is no way God put our gift somewhere in the world because we could never go all over the world. That's impossible. As a person, you couldn't do that. So the gift has to be within yourself, within myself. That and I was right. I was exactly right. The gift is within me. He just happened to put me with the gift in this part of the world for some reason, in the United States of America, wherever. That has yet to be revealed to me yet. Why here? I don't know yet. I asked God, Sarai. I asked God to break it for me. So luckily, luckily for me, the narcissist that I was with, she lived on the opposite end of the United States than I. So when I left the narcissist, I came back home to where I lived on the opposite end. So once I left, there was absolutely nothing she could do. She could not physically reach me anymore. It was impossible now, which was a blessing because if I was living anywhere near her during this process, she would have ignored everything. She would have came over my place, damaged probably property. You want to, when you put it this way, and I meant to say this too before I left, with a narcissist and you have identified them 100% as a narcissist, and before you put up your boundary to leave them, because you're going to cause what's called a narcissistic injury, this is what I suggest. If you have any kind of ties, like a phone account with them, or a bank account, or something that they can shut off if you don't do what they say, I strongly suggest untying all that stuff if you can, that they don't have something like that over you that will hinder you from doing something in your life, because that's what they do. Right? They will take something and they will destroy it just because you're leaving them. I know it sounds weird. I know it sounds crazy, but they rather a narcissist, instead of you allowing you to leave because of their misery that they're bringing down on you, they rather destroy you than let you go, because they know what the truth is. They know you will do better without them because they know they're no good. We just, it feels bad to us because we just happen to be the current person that they're destroying. That's it. We're not the first, we're not the last. It's always been that way, that they know nothing else. That's what they do. But when you leave a narcissist, you will cause a narcissistic injury, and you don't know what they will do during that space because they're like delusional. It's a good thing and it's a bad thing because you could take care of a lot of things during this time period, because I was able to do that with when I caused the narcissistic injury to the narcissist that I was with. Right after right after the and it's only a period of time. They're in this state of mind for maybe a month or two, and then once they snap out of it, they're back to the normal, because the narcissist I was with, she was right back to normal, trying to bad mouth and talk and all this other stuff. But what that is they're trying to get energy from you. So when they do stuff like that, do not feed into anything. And when you decide, and if you're deep in right now with a narcissist and you feel like all options have been exhausted, I want you to find a quiet place and ask God to help you. Ask God to help you. And when you ask God to help you got to get out of the way. You can't interfere. What does not interfere mean? That means no going back and forth with them. One second. No going back and forth with them in text messages, voicemails, social media. Absolutely nothing. Nothing. Now, if they do something illegal, yeah, you got to go to the police. But if it's not illegal and it's doing something just to bother you, upset you, make you cry, or whatever, you got to ignore it all. Why? Because you cannot make the energy connection. When they do stuff like that, they're trying their best to make an energy connection with you. It could be good or bad. It doesn't matter. It's energy. You know it. You feel it in your body when you read the text. Say like say like they're texting you and you're just not responding. Okay. Then but when they text you, they're not bouncing back. They know those text messages are reaching you. So the energy connection is being made because they know you're going to read the text message. And when you read it, all you have to do is feel the energy throughout your body when you read it. That means the connection is made. So imagine they send a text, but it doesn't reach you. Guess what? The energy connection is never made because you never know it came. Energy is real, people. It's not fake, it's real. So what you got to do is change the number, block it, whatever, and make sure the narcissist knows that it's blocked, that they don't have access directly to your phone anymore. They have to know it. They have to feel that discernment. You guys should look it up. If you don't know the definition of it, look it up. Look up its meaning, and then look up its spiritual meaning. It's real. We all have it. You just have to trust it. But first, you have to trust yourself. Once you trust yourself, you'll trust all of it. I love who I am today. I am here for God, period. Does it change who I am? Absolutely not. I love it. I exist in a part of the world that is very rare. All right, everybody. It's been about a little over an hour. Uh, if you have any questions of me, I guess I can answer them now before I leave. But if not, I will sign out. Any questions? I'm excited about to see this channel grow. It's going to connect with a lot of people that were confused like I. Appreciate it, Wayman. Thank you, sir. I'm excited to see a lot of people just grow from this. Hopefully, I could help a lot of people not even have to experience the pain of a narcissist by helping you guys easily identify one without having to experience one personally. But some of us have it in our family, have them in our family. Those are the tough ones, especially when it's your mama or your sibling, daddy. Yes, chosen have to be strong enough to handle those too, like me. That's why I'm here today. I love my mama. I am here. I am the person I am because of my mama. But as an adult, there's another side that I didn't see. Whoa, wait a minute. What? I can't have my own opinion? Oh, that's a problem. That even not that's not allowed. I'm not calling. Listen, I'll make sure you're clear. I'm not calling my mom a narcissist. Just my sister, not my mother. They're everywhere. Narcissists are everywhere. I'm not going to say they are the majority, but they are everywhere. When you here again, let me give you guys a few examples of the world, the perspective of the world of a narcissist. When you hear terms like ghosting, all these, joke about cheating, all these YouTube videos, and, just calling women bitches and do a bitch like this. That's a perspective of the world that a lot of people live. The people that live in that world, it's their world. It's their perspective of the world. They just don't understand it is only a perspective. All women are not like that. All men are not like that. Just because we have a male part, we don't have to do every woman we see. That none of that is true. That's a choice. I have a choice. I don't have to do that. That's what I choose. I don't do that. That's what I mean. Now, as a chosen one, you're gonna have to put up a boundary with all of them. That's the hardest one because as chosen ones, we don't really like the confrontation or dealing with all that bad energy. But that falls right perfectly into the narcissist world because they get to continue to do what they're doing to you uninterrupted. That's no longer allowed. So so you guys are clear that I'm not just talking shit. My sister, who is 3.5 years younger than me, who we have never had a problem with in our entire lives. But in reality, listen, this is the crazy part. I always knew she was a low down, dirty snake that cheated on all her boyfriends and lied to her friends and talk about her friends talk about all her friends behind their back, cheats on her boyfriend, just all the horrible things that you could think. But in my mind, she never did that to me. So I ignored it, totally forgetting that that's not a good person to be close with because that can get you hurt without even knowing. You know, a couple of times she had tried to involve me with one of her side dudes, and one of her side dudes had a business, and she tried to involve me. Hey, can you wear this shirt and do it a video? I'm like, hey, listen, don't involve me in your side stuff. I had to say it to her, and I didn't say it like that, but I had to tell her, hey, don't involve me in that. I'm not part of that because you guys got to understand. Once I know he's a side dude, and I say, okay, I'll promote your shirts, your side. Now I'm part of of her perspective of the world. That makes me part of it because I know she's cheating on her boyfriend. You understand? So I said, nah, I'm good with that. I don't want that connection because when her shit blows up with the boyfriend, I don't want the boyfriend looking at me talking about, oh man, you knew her the whole time, nigga. You said, no, no, no. That's how people get hurt. That's how people get hurt. But I thought she wouldn't do that to me until I did something that what happened was as she was complaining about her job. So what I did was I created a business and I said, hey, you can quit your job and be part of the business. You have her join the business, blah blah blah. But she didn't want to work in the business. She wanted to still do everything she wanted to do and just basically use me. And I was like, no, hey, okay, never mind. It didn't work. Here, sign your name off the business. She said, no. I said, what do you mean no? What are you talking about? What do you mean no? We've never had a problem. I said, if you don't sign this paper, the relationship between you and I is over. Are you really willing to risk that? She was like, sure. That's when I knew. That's when the low down dirty snake that I knew turned around and bit me. So now what do? She's removed. In order to be free and to become a chosen one, that's the kind of that's the kind of thing that you must do. You must have the power to do that. Do you have that kind of power to do that? Are you do you think you're strong enough to do that? Say that to your mom or your dad, brother and sister. That's what it's going to take. And you got to mean it. I live with my sister now. When I leave here, listen, when I leave here, I'm never going to see or talk to her ever again for the rest of my life. That's how serious it is. Narcissists must know that they cannot do that. And that's what you must be willing to do. I have I have peace in my life. I'm not going to let anybody disturb because it took me years to reach it. Years to reach this point. Every she took My sister took my gift that was blessed from God. I shared it with her, and then she turned around and fucked me with my gift. I sat her down. I said, "Hey, you see this right here? This gift from God that you can quit your job and make double what you make now. You can quit your job and just come to me." She said, I'll take all that, but I'm gonna keep my job and still do what I want to do and not participate in the business, but I still want some money from the business." I said, no, it doesn't work like that. I'm sorry, you can't do that." And then she turned around and bit me and tried to use me. I said, "Hey, I'm your brother. You can't do that." A narcissist will use anybody. But all I had to do, listen, all I had to do was look how she was living her life. That's all I had to do. Uh, Put it this way. Let me make it easier. If she was not my sister and I saw her as a stranger living the life the way she lives her life, I would have never in a million years went into business with her at all. But I used the illusion of a family member making making a family member somehow some kind of exception of the rule. Exception of the rule. Do not ever, ever. You say just like when you decide to open your own business, right? You open your own business, and you always hear about people. Hey, yeah, let's. It's family. You got to keep it in the family. First, you got to take a step back and say, how is this family member currently living their life? If this family member wasn't a family member, would I go into business with them? If the answer is no, you do not go into business with a family member who is currently living their life not the way according to yours. You just don't. Look how this person is living, running the business of themselves. Narcissists are really just uh, weak cowards. What they do is take something. Listen, this is what they all do because they have no power of anything. They don't never have anything of their own. They never build anything of their own. They take something that you give them and then they say it's theirs. Even you. Soon as you say, listen, as soon as you tell a narcissist that you love them, family or not, relationship, as soon as you tell a narcissist that you love them, they think it belongs to them. They take it and say, oh, thank you. Okay, cool. I own it. No, you don't. I'm sharing it with you. I'm sharing my love with you. It's not yours to keep. They are they are very, very bad people. Yes, they are. But they're only bad if you let them. They can be bad all they want outside. I like, for example, now I don't care what the ex narcissist is doing, who she's with, what her business is. I don't even care. We're not even in the same league. She's not even nowhere near me. I don't even care. There is no there is no energy connection being made by me on my end. I am thankful for the relationship. I'm even thankful for this experience that I'm having with my mother and my sister. I'm thankful for it because there is no other way I could have discovered this. I would have did just like everybody else. Oh, they're family. Let me put them on. Let me put them on the business. That nobody blood is thicker than water. All that BS. All of it. It's crazy. Sup, Omanike? Gang King Thrum. It's truth. Yeah, it's funny. I saw your comment, Gang Green. I was thinking, funny you say that because I was going on that evening because I was just thinking about everything, a lot of stuff recently, what I'm going through. But it's all a gift and it's beautiful. I don't want you guys to think I'm over here upset about it or it's all positive for me. It's all good for me. It's just another part of the journey that I have to go through. Put it this way. My sister is the last narcissist in my life that is close to me that will soon be removed forever to never again appear. I will never have a narcissist that close to me in my life. The ones outside that are strangers, narcissists and in business and the working place, that's not a problem for me. I don't that doesn't bother me at all. The biggest tests are the one I want everybody to understand it. The biggest tests are the ones that are closer to you. Family members, sister, brother, mother, dad, grandparents, whoever. Those are the true tests. If you go up to your narcissist family member and say, hey, I need you to stop doing XYZ to me, and they do not stop, you have to be strong enough to say goodbye. Not not goodbye for a week, not goodbye for a month, goodbye forever. And why do I say forever? Because 99% of narcissists don't apologize for shit. They don't apologize for anything. Why? Because they don't think they're ever wrong. But that's okay as long as they're not around you. As long as you remove them from your life, who cares what they do or how they continue on to be a narcissist? It doesn't matter. They're out of here. Back into the pool of narcissists, the narcissist of the pool of narcissistic people. They're all swimming around in there. They don't know they're in there. My cousins, they're still in con. And Gang Green Thou, I want to point out something. Okay, you got to think about this. You said my cousins are they're still in contact with the narc. In order to be friends with a narcissist, you have to be like them. Because think about it. I could not be friends with a narcissist. Understand this too. Narcissists All narcissists, 99% of narcissists are part of somebody's family. You guys understand? Just like that. You got to be strong enough to say goodbye forever, not just because you're upset. Because if you do that, because most narcissists, remember, when you put up a boundary for a narcissist, they think it's temporary. They think you're just bullshitting. They think, oh, you'll get over it in 2 weeks. My family knows because I've pretty much been like this all my life. I just didn't know it. Once I make up my mind and I'm saying I'm removing you, they're removed. When I used to tell women that, hey, you keep doing that, I'm leaving you, they never believed me. They never believed me until I did it. And then they're begging me, oh my God, what are you doing that for? I don't get it. It's too late. Once I turn this person on, that's it. That's it. I don't go backwards. Truth, I see it now. One of my cousins might be a psychopath. We don't really talk. Exactly. You got to, gangrene thumb, you got to look at it just like that. Why would my family members be friends with a narcissist? Because they're the same. That's really hard for people to stick in people's minds and to accept that, because we let emotions get in there. Oh my God, they're my cousins. How could they? It has nothing to do with your cousins. Narcissistic people have nothing to do with being your family members. They're just bad people. Nobody knows how they got that way. And I'm not a professional, but I guarantee you, if you go to a person that studies narcissistic people, I have a hunch that it starts as a child. As a child, I really do. This narcissist I was with, man, I feel for her young child. I feel for her because she's a bad person. She's a bad person, and that's no exaggeration, people. She is a bad person. Not just be friends, but my cousin knows how the narc nearly ended me. I poured my I poured my ear out to my cousin. That's what I mean. That's for you, Gangrene Thumb. That's what I read that over. Okay. I want you to read what you wrote for yourself. That's that's a narc. That's narciss. If you and they're still friends, you cut your cousin off. That's it. That your cousin don't know that the narc is making an energy connection to you through your cousin. You better cut that off right now. Cut it off. You want to be friends? You guys be friends. No access. Period. The energy thing is real, people. Real. When I say nothing, no email, no text message, no hello. Hey, if they're going to be at an event where all the families, I'm not going. I'm not going. I'm not saying, oh, I'm not showing up because no, I'm not going because that narc is there. I'm not going. And then when the family members come up to you and say, hey man, you're tripping. That's your cousin. You turn to the family member and say, do you want to stay in my life? Then I suggest you stay out of it. If you want to stay in my life, do not ever come up to me saying that to me ever, ever. And you got to listen. This is very important. You look a person in their eyes when you say it. Don't move your eyes around. Don't look up and down. Don't look for other people coming. You stare them in the eyes and say, if you come to me like that again, I will remove you too. Do not ever do that again. No contact with the narc mother, narc siblings, and an entire narc family. No regrets. My father passed away 2 years ago, but I had gone no contact with him years before he passed. See what I'm saying? I want, and I'm glad Truth brought that up because I want to make sure other people, because I didn't say this. I am removing myself from my family. You guys understand that? That's the kind of, I don't want to call it balls or whatever. That's the kind of strength you must have. I'm removing myself from my family. My mother and my sister, who are the last ones left to my immediate family, they're never going to see me again once I move from here. Never. Now, as I watch them, listen, as I watch my mother and my sister go on with life, acting like they really don't care, it doesn't really bother them that they don't have a son or a brother no more. That's a facade, people. That's what they do. They pretend like it doesn't bother them because I'm here in this house. It's only because they physically know where I'm at. That's how narcs are. As long as they physically know where you're at, they think it's some kind of something. I'm not sure. Once I leave, that's when it kicks in. Because they all do the same thing. All of them. They all do the same thing. They all act like it's not a big deal until I leave. Because they don't, narcissists don't take action. They just talk shit. Always remember that. They just talk. They're really loud. They really threaten, a lot of threats, a lot of just stuff just to make you just obey or something. I'm not quite sure what that's for, but as long as you don't obey and tell them this is going to happen, I'm leaving. You're not stopping me. I don't care what you do. I don't care if you cut this off. I don't care. It's happening. And then once you make your move, then they'll just move on to the next victim. Unfortunately, as a chosen one, I'm here to help you easily identify narcissists. I'm helping people that are inside the narcissistic fog that don't know what's happening. You don't know that you're in it. You're wondering why you're accepting this person fooling around on you. You think it's okay to work through infidelity. You think it's all right. No, it's not. None of it's all right. Once it happened, the relationship's over. There is no recovery. There's a bond that's been broken forever that can never can be fixed. It's broken because once it's broke, it can never be fixed. That means you can never experience a true relationship untouched. None of that. You can never experience because it's broke. So it's over. The longer you stand into it, the more miserable you'll be. You don't totally listen. Totally forgetting that your time here on earth is limited. Totally forgetting. They get you all caught up in the narcissistic fog. Now you forgot that one day you're gonna leave Earth. You totally forgot. Don't do that. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap it up, man. It's been an hour and 42 minutes. A good live stream. Appreciate you, Gang Green throwing out there. Thank you, Truth. Omanike. Thank you. QQ. I'm gonna just say QQ because I don't know how to pronounce it. Wayman, if you're still here, appreciate it. If you enjoyed this stream, hit that like button, share it, try to get 6 cents out there. Thank you, man. Very much appreciated. Thank you for checking on me too. I much appreciated. But when you see me, especially on the 6 cents channel, when you see me not speaking for a while, it's just I'm trying to learn how to translate this into words to share with you guys. Translate my experience, which is the majority psychological, into words to share with you, and hopefully share you with you along your journey. Maybe prevent some unnecessary learning. Maybe you could just be shown and taught, and then now you don't have to do some personal experience through it. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to actually feel the pain of it. You could just feel my pain and say, Oh yeah, I want to feel that and just learn from it. Yeah. Went no contact with a childhood friend who is a narcissist and cut off all other toxic friendships out of my life permanently. Very happy. That's what I did too. It's pretty crazy when you have to cut off them childhood friends. When you're young, you think, "Oh, we're going to be friends for life," but I'm here to tell you, some friendships are not made for put it this way, as you evolve and change, hopefully, not everybody evolves, but as you evolve and change, some of your friends are not going to change with you, and then you're going to have to let them go. You're going to be like, "Oh man, we've been friends for 10, 20 years." Well, the time is up. It's time to make room for new friends for who you are today. Appreciate it. What's up, Lottery Guru? LJ, you are on the money, bro. I had to disappear from my siblings and my own mom. They used me. I had enough and keep it moving. There's a lot of people in this exact same situation, but stuck in the program of this is my mom. I'm supposed to do this. I'm supposed to accept. No, no, you're not supposed to accept anybody doing you bad, using you. I don't care who it is. If they love you, listen, I love my sister. I love my mother. I wouldn't think of using them. I wouldn't think of if they gave me a gift that would free me from a regular job, I would take that gift and use it as a bargaining tool against them. I would never in a million years, that wouldn't even come to my brain. But narcissists, they will do anything. You hear me? I am here to save you from the pain that I had to experience. It takes balls, yes. But first, I had to find peace in myself. Now I radiate a certain type of frequency and energy. So whoever the woman is that is going to match that frequency, she's going to be here. She's already going to be here. You understand? She's already going to be here. She's going to match my likes, my dislikes, everything, everything. I'm not even looking. She's just going to know. It's attraction. We attract. We don't have to look. We just attract. Everywhere I go, people talk to me for some odd reason. Hey man, how you doing? It's like, damn, like we've been together, but now I'm used to it. I know why. I already know why. I remember a guy about 2 months ago, and I'm gonna leave you guys with this. A guy about 2 months ago stops me inside of Costco. I'm standing to the side, minding my own business, looking at some stuff. He stops and said, "Hey." I said, "Hey, how you doing?" He's like, "Oh, hey, how you doing, man?" I'm like, "Hey, how you doing?" Man, you just look like you somebody. I said to myself, that's exactly what I want people to see. That's what I want you to see. I didn't say that to him, but I just said, "Oh, really?" But I knew. I I make the world. I show the world how I feel inside, outwardly, through my body, the way I look, the way I speak, the way I carry myself, etc., etc. Get used to it when you start to find yourself. Find you, find what brings you peace. Once you find it, don't let anybody change it. Don't change it for nobody. You guys have a good night. Talk to you later.